to another session on Ways with Words. So let's continue with Roadside Stand by Robert Frost. But before we move on to the next few lines of the poem, let's have a quick recap. A small-time farmer has set up a small roadside stand outside his family home at the edge of the highway. His intentions are to earn an extra income, and he wants the passers-by, the rich, luxurious people, the city dwellers who are heading past that way, to stop and make a purchase. But then he understands that they do not stop. They're very insensitive people, and in case they do stop, they only stop to find fault with the villagers for having put up those wrong signboards showing the wrong directions. North and south is wrongly pointed. So these rustic people, and they also feel that the roadside stand and these wrong those signboards, they look very crude, and they are marring or destroying the beauty of the roadside stand. Then we also read those lines where we understand what was put on sale in the roadside stand. The roadside stand offered wild berries, and that too, that was packaged in handy quantities, and also was various squash that was perhaps made by the farmer's wife, and also the panoramic painting of the roadsides of the countryside. But it does not attract the attention of any of these passers-by, and the farmer is very much hurt at the rejection of his produce, especially when there is a connect between the farmer and the product, because he is living close to nature. He finds that rejection very hurtful, and he also says that much more than the rejection of these fruits and vegetables that he has grown is the rejection of the art by a rural artist perhaps. And according to the farmer, a civilization that cannot appreciate the work of art is on its downward spiral. So he speaks about the insensitive attitude of these people, and he also tells us that he gets very angry. The farmer is sad. It's not that he's getting angry because he is angry with them. He's just sad. He's emotionally hurt, or he's emotionally overwhelmed, because he expected to sell some of these produce and earn an extra income for his family, but that is not happening. And therefore he thinks about a lot of things. He thinks about the unequal distribution of wealth. He thinks about how the city people enjoy all the luxuries of life, where and the villagers are deprived of even the basic amenities of life. So the farmer, he gets very angry, very sad. He's overwhelmed, and he says, if you don't want to spare, or if you don't want to buy anything from us, it's fine, but this kind of attitude, this attitude of yours, this insensitive and selfish, snobbish, arrogant, mean attitude of yours is what makes us feel really sad. This rich-poor divide is vividly portrayed by the poet in these few lines. Now let's move on to the, so that's where we stopped. Well, let's move on to the next few lines. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand and give us the life of the moving pictures promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us. So he tells us about the anger. So the poet expresses the anger that he has, the villagers through the farmer. The poet expresses his anger, and they see this attitude of the city dwellers very uncomfortable, and the complaint of the city or of the city dwellers is the only complaint that you find in the city dwellers is that these people have marred the beauty of the roadside stand, the beauty of their mountainous countryside by putting up this roadside stand. That's the only complaint, that, and putting the signboards wrong. That is the only complaint that these people are having against the villagers. But for the villagers, their complaints are far more serious. They are not silly things, silly complaints like that of the city dwellers. There is Frost vividly portrays the unequal distribution of wealth here. They feel that the city people, their attitude itself is very arrogant, very indifferent to the needs of the villagers. They have money, enough and more money in their hand, and they could have easily parted with this money. They could have bought something from this roadside stand. They spent money for their cars, they spend money on luxurious living. Unnecessarily, they spend a lot of money over things very silly, very trivial. If they could have spent some time, or if they could have just at least thought of this man and how poor he is, and if that thought, that selfless thought, consideration was there in them, they would have bought something from this roadside stand, even if they did not want to eat it, or even if they did not actually appreciate it. If they could have bought something from them and helped this farmer, they would have been very happy. But they are not so. They are arrogant, they are selfish. They don't want to part with the money. They would spend otherwise they would just spend it ruthlessly. But here, when it comes to helping a farmer, they are not ready to do that. We see that in our Indian system also, right? A farmer who cannot pay his debt is put to jail, whereas others who have to pay crores are free to move about, right? So it's all money, power. Okay, so anyway, the selfishness is what that really hurts the people. Now they also then we have far from the city we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand. So that's where we stopped. I was talking to you about these lines. These lines means the farmer, he says, far from the city we make our roadside stand. With what intention? With the intention of earning an extra income, and ask for some city money to feel at hand. So we are only asking you to buy something from us, and thereby we can also live a better life. We are just asking you, requesting you to part with some a share of that city money. This flux that is, or the product of the city is industries is what? After all, money, right? So what he's asking is just a share of your money so that we can also enjoy a better life, just like you are living. You are living a luxurious life. We don't want to enjoy such luxury, but we would like to live a better life. Maybe the roof is, ഓട് മാറ്റേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. മഴ പെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവിടെയൊക്കെ സ്നോ ആണ്. If it snows, it could be, it need to be mended. Maybe the walls need to be mended. Maybe there's something else that needs construction. So if they get a little extra income, they could do something about it. With this intention that the farmer has put up a roadside stand. But these city dwellers, they don't care. They are unconcerned. Okay, so that's what it means to try if it will not make our being expand. Our being expand, here the farmer is speaking about having a better life. The villagers having a better life. Villagers share to better amenities, better basic amenities in life. That is what he's intending, or that's what the poet tries to tell us through these lines. And give us the life of moving pictures promise. Now here, moving pictures. What is moving pictures? Motion pictures. Motion pictures is a reference to the movies. Now here, since it's America, it is a reference to what? Hollywood movies. So even they have, see, whether it is rich or poor, or the middle class or the upper middle class, all of us are very much fascinated and influenced by the media, right? So we may not want to buy such expensive, or we may not be able to buy such expensive clothes that they use, but at least we love to imitate them in our dressing, in our way of style, right? So likewise, he says they had seen a lot of Hollywood movies in which a lot of glamour and luxury has been displayed and portrayed, and they believe that if the city folks, if the city dwellers would buy something from them, from this roadside stand, the villager, he feels that if these people would buy something from this roadside stand, they would get extra income. Again, the same thought is being repeated, but here he speaks about another important thing also, another thing another emotion. So it's not just about basic amenities, but also man's desire to live a better life, to live a happy life. Not very luxurious, but a pleasant life. So seeing movies, we are also influenced by seeing a lot of movies. Maybe it is the dressing, maybe it is their house, maybe it is their so many things. When we see in the movies, we also love to imitate them. Maybe we may not be able to imitate them completely, but at least a bit. We have that feel inside us. We desire, right? Human beings, desires are something that makes human beings move on in life, right? So here he also, the farmer says, if you could part with some of your money, some of the cash that you have, not freely, but by buying something from the roadside stand, we could also afford to enjoy some of these luxuries that are seen in the pictures, that are seen in the movies, okay, that are seen on the screen. All right. Now there's a change in thought when you come to the next line, that the party in power is keeping from us. Now things get a little serious. Who's the party here? Party is a reference to the political party. Now the political party, there is a rumor. Now we come to the main theme of the poem too. The theme of urbanization. where the party in power, there's a rumor that these political parties are responsible for the destruction of villages. Now, how do they destroy the villages? They destroy villages in two ways. One, they collect tax from everybody. They collect tax from the villages also, but the villages are not benefited by these taxes. Okay, once the election is over, they don't even turn back. Okay, like they just don't care about what happens, whether the villages are benefited out of it, whether something they do something for the village, for the welfare of the villages. Nothing is looked into. So there is a rumor, they are hearing from the news or from here and there that these political parties are responsible for keeping the wealth away from the villages. So the people are not just upset. So here in the last line we understand that their anger is not just to the city dwellers but also to the political parties or the government also, who is equally responsible in keeping the wealth away from them. So if you turn to the next page of your textbook, from here on you will find a change in the tone of the poet. The poet becomes very serious, and you find that the earlier you understood that it was the farmer who was talking to us. Now we don't get to see the farmer. In fact, the farmer slowly changes to that of the persona of the farmer changes to that of Robert Frost. Okay, and you find Robert Frost or the poet speaking to us in the next set of the poem, the next few lines of the poem. So again, this is a dramatic monologue. You will find in the first half you will find the farmer talking, and the second half you will find the poet talking to the readers. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in, to live in villages next to the theatre and the store, where they won't have to think for themselves any more. While greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey, swarm over their lives enforcing benefits that are calculated to soothe them out of their wits, and by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day, destroy their sleeping at night the ancient way. So let's look at the first 4 lines first. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in, to live in villages next to theatre and store, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. Now you find that there's a rhythm there. Earlier there is a rhythm here and there, but it is not a continuous one. So this is a kind of free verse. So here who are these pitiful kin? Pitiful, pathetic, pitiful, sad. So these people, it is these lines inform us things are getting very serious now. Earlier the poem started with a simple description of a roadside stand, and the farmer speaking about his woes, his sorrow of not getting enough money to live a bit better life. Slowly things are changing, and here you have Frost telling us of the other side of the political side, that is, as to the reason as to why these people suffer, these simple villagers suffer. So things get more serious. So here the lines inform us that there has been a rumor that these people, there's a rumor that these politicians, there are some politicians and business magnates, they are thinking, they are making plans to expand the growth or to expand the city. So the beginning, look at how Frost very beautifully comes to that the theme, that is urbanization. So there is a news that there's a rumor that these village people are going to be relocated. They're going to be removed from these places. Or it is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in. So mercifully they are going to be gathered somewhere. Where? So they are going to be relocated. Munnar, where a resort is under construction, where the government and the private agency is involved. You will be also studying BA English Literature. Will also students will also be studying about this in your introducing literature. Adivasi will not dance, by Hansta. There you will find how these Dalits, they are relocated, how they are tortured, how their land is taken away from them. So likewise here also we have village people who are going to be relocated. They are going to be put in another place, and what happens to their place? What happens to their land? These lands are going to be taken away. For what? For expanding the city. Big shopping malls will come there. Shopping centers, shopping malls, theaters, and all those things are going to come there. Soon the country is going to fade. There won't be any countrysides. These mountains would be broken down. And in that place you would find resorts. You will find luxurious hotels. And that itself is a cause for all these landslides and other natural calamities, right? Why is Munnar so badly affected by these landslides and all? When man decides to build houses where houses are not meant to be built, such things will happen. The forests are cleared. So what happens to the wildlife? Where do they live? Where would these animals go? Right? So we are not concerned of all those things. Man are by nature very selfish. So here we have the villages. There is a rumor that these villages are going to be relocated in order to accommodate the ever expanding city. The city is going to come there. Soon the growing cities, it's very beautifully personified. Soon the cities are going to grow and encroach upon these lands, forcefully enter upon these lands, that is the countryside. And in the place where you had beautiful mountains and rivers and lakes, farms, yes, the fields, the hills, the valleys, all these are going to go. And instead you will find shopping malls, theaters spreading everywhere. Traffic and cars and luxuries and big skyscrapers would stand in that place. So using sharp irony, Frost refers to these people. Now how does Frost refer to these people? Who are the people here? These politicians and these intermediaries. These people, these people, brokers, politicians, private agencies, business magnates, very sharp irony describe. While the greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey. Now again, next let me introduce you to the next literary device, and that is oxymoron. What is an oxymoron? See, oxymoron is where you have two opposites together. Greedy good doers. How can a good doer, what is a good doer? നല്ല പ്രവൃത്തി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സൽപ്രവൃത്തി ചെയ്യുന്നവരെയാണ്, നന്മ ചെയ്യുന്നവരെയാണ് ഗുഡ് ഡൂവേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഹൗ ക്യാൻ ഗുഡ് ഡൂവേഴ്സ് ബിക്കം ഗ്രീഡി? Right? Another one is beneficent beasts of prey. Beneficent എന്താണ്? പോസിറ്റീവ് വേർഡാണ്. ബെനിഫിഷ്യൻറ്റ്, റൈറ്റ്? ബെനിഫിഷ്യൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ചാരിറ്റി പ്രവർത്തനം നടത്തുന്ന ബെനിഫിഷ്യൻറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള ആ വാക്ക്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വേർഡ് ഇസ് ബീസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് പ്രേ. വാട്ട് ആർ ബീസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് പ്രേ? ലയൺ, ഈഗിൾ, vulture, all these are beasts of prey that prey on others, they prey on other weaker animals. So this is oxymoron. Okay, using these oxymoron, using sharp irony, Frost attacks these people. He calls them greedy good doers, these politicians, these intermediaries, these business magnates who steal. What do? They steal, they take the land from these farmers and they make big cities and malls and townships there. And how do they buy? What do they buy? How do you think they are concerned about the profit of these, they are concerned about the well-being of these farmers? No. They buy from these farmers at a very less cost, very cheap rate. The farmers, on the other hand, when they suddenly see a huge amount of money, they feel they have it all. They don't know that they are being cheated. So from them, they buy the land at a very cheap rate. And what do these people do? They make big buildings there, set up big buildings and reap profit double and triple of what they bought from them. And these farmers, what happens to these farmers? They have lost their land. They are relocated. They have lost their land. They have lost their family house. They have lost everything. This land is gone. These farmers, they are illiterate. They don't know any other job. They don't know how to, they don't have, വേറെ ജോലിക്കൊന്നും പോകാനായിട്ട് അവർക്ക് അറിയില്ല. അവർക്ക് ഇത് തന്നെയാണ്, കൃഷി മാത്രമേ അറിയുള്ളൂ. അപ്പോൾ അവരെന്ത് ചെയ്യും? ഇനിയൊന്നും ചെയ്യാനുമില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഈ കൈ കിട്ടിയ എമൗണ്ട് എല്ലാം പെട്ടെന്ന് ഒരു എമൗണ്ട്, പാവപ്പെട്ട ഒരു കർഷകന് ഒരു വലിയൊരു എമൗണ്ട് കൈ കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ അയാൾക്ക് എന്താണ് അതും കൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്ന് പോലും അറിയില്ല. പകുതി അയാൾ കടം തീർത്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവാം, പക്ഷേ ഈ കൈ കിട്ടിയ എമൗണ്ട് അയാൾക്ക് മാത്രമാണ് ഇത് വലിയൊരു എമൗണ്ട്. അയാൾക്ക് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇവർ ചതിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഈ എമൗണ്ട് അയാൾക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ either he will ruthlessly spend it or he will use it for giving away, or കടബാധ്യത എല്ലാം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് തീർക്കാനായിട്ട് നോക്കുന്നു. പിന്നെ ബാക്കിയുള്ളത് പലരും കുറച്ചൊരു എമൗണ്ട് ആയിരിക്കും അയാൾക്ക് കഷ്ടിമുഷ്ടി ജീവിച്ച് പോകാൻ മാത്രം പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു എമൗണ്ട് ആയിരിക്കും അയാൾക്ക് കയ്യിലുള്ളത്. പണ്ട് അങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നില്ല. പണ്ട് അയാളുടെ സ്വന്തം, he had his field, ഭൂമി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, അവിടെ കൃഷി ചെയ്ത് അധ്വാനിച്ച് അയാൾക്ക് he used to earn his livelihood. But now where is that land? The land has been taken away by these business magnates, these greedy good doers. They feel, they look as though they are doing something good to them, especially these intermediaries. ഈ ഇടനിലക്കാരെയാണ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. They tell the farmers that this is good, they will give you this much of money, you can sell the land, you will be able to live in luxury, you will not have to work anymore, you can live happily, and they will come with all sorts of promises. They are called sharks. They can be called sharks. And they would buy these lands and ഇത് ആർക്കാണ് മറച്ചു വയ്ക്കുന്നത്? ഇവർ വലിയ ബിസിനസ് മാഗ്നറ്റ്സിന് മറച്ചു വയ്ക്കുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇടനിലക്കാരായിട്ട് നിൽക്കുന്നു, വലിയ കുറേ കമ്മീഷനൊക്കെ വാങ്ങിച്ച്. പക്ഷെ പോകുന്നത് മൊത്തം ആർക്കാണ്? ഈ പാവപ്പെട്ട കർഷകന്. ക്ലിയർ? ഓക്കെ. സോ to live in villages next to theaters and store where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. They won't have to think for themselves anymore. They are going to be ripped of their land and they are going to be given a large share. They are going to be made to think that they are being given a big amount. And they are going to live in luxury. They won't have to think anymore. They don't have to work anymore. They are said that they will live in luxury. While the greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits. So all that these people are interested is get their land from these farmers and sell it to these big business magnates or the government or the politicians. And they would come to them with good words, sweet words, soothing words, and they would buy this land from them. That are calculated to soothe them out of their wits. So they would be told that they will be given a huge amount, a big amount. To the farmer it is a big amount, but actually it is not. They are being cheated by these people. And destroy their sleeping at night, and by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day, destroy their sleeping at night the ancient way. So these people, they offer monetary compensation for the loss of their lands. Now at the poet, he uses sarcasm because these benefits would not be in favor of these people. Initially they would be flooded with money, but they would have lost their land. And this is in fact highly questionable also. Hence the poet says that the money that would lead them, this amount that they are going to be given by these beasts of prey, these intermediaries, these brokers, you can say. What happens is these people, these poor farmer who was a hard-working person, now is made to be lazy, and eventually they just relax because they have lots of money now with them. They don't know what to do with this money. They relax. And slowly what happens? Ee paisa ellam theerum. It gets it just gets extinguished, or it just goes. Idellam തീർന്നു പോകും. ഈ പൈസ എല്ലാം അവർ ഓരോന്നിനായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിച്ചത് തീരും. തീർന്നു കഴിയുമ്പോൾ the land is lost. And now earlier they knew how to work hard in the field, plow the field, work hard, and then come home and sleep the ancient way. Ancient way of sleep was, how was their ancient way of sleep? They used to sleep after a day's hard work. Now they have the money or wealth is flooded into their hands. They have lost the tradition of working hard in their fields. Now they don't know, they have become very lazy. They have been taught to become lazy. They have been forcefully made to become lazy. And they lose all their peaceful sleep. Okay, so these things have been orchestrated by whom? These things are been very carefully and crookedly planned, orchestrated or very carefully planned by the so-called good doers, these intermediaries. They very cunningly, very shrewdly they have planned all these things. Buy the land from them, give them cash and soothe them in such a way that they will be happy, they will not voice against them. And eventually what happens? These farmers, they lose their land, they lose their sleep, they lose their traditional way of life because of this wealth, the initial wealth that comes to them. And slowly when it gets No, it's when the amount is over, when they don't have any amount left, any money left, what happens? They commit suicide, right? So Frost calls them greedy good doers or beasts of prey, because they are nothing but sharks, vultures, who do not have any interest in the rural people, and they were just looking for an opportunity to making money for themselves. Is this not what is happening in our happening in India too? Well, just think about the Munnar cases, the villages that are the rural people that you find on the in the streets, in our traffic signals. What happened? They are migrant workers, or they are migrants. Why have they come here? They have lost their land. Their traditional way of life is lost. Where will they go? They are homeless. They have been dislocated, right? So think about this, and what the situations that we have in our Kerala also. We will take the next few lines in the next class. So thank you, and keep safe.